What's up, guys? Benji from Nikidra Gaming here, and I'm here with Jack with his third place states dueling book profile for South Australia, and he's going to walk you through it. So, why'd you play Dinosaur?
Hell yeah, brother. Dinosaur, well, as I said in the prior failed recording, I
Yes,
think it's just the
take
absolute
two.
best deck of the former format and this format, so long as you draw the right cards. But hey, that's every deck. So, I don't know. I think it's been great ever since it's come out. It can always be a contender with every top meta deck that exists. It's either anti-meta or is the meta sort of thing. It's just great all around. It's
Yeah,
been
for
great
sure, and
forever.
like, you can
Yeah.
abuse a lot of like extra deck cards and stuff with this deck, which is really nice,
Oh yeah.
as I'm sure
Ooh,
you'll explain to me
absolutely.
soon.
Yeah, absolutely. So, all right, well, we'll get into it. We'll get into the main deck, and then we'll build our way through. So, again, like you got the three Oviraptor, it is the heart and soul of the deck, as well as pretty much every card is. But Oviraptor is the real heart and soul. That's soul eating. Ha ha ha! Good puns. That's ha ha ha. So yeah, it's the play starter, it's the play extender, it's the combo enabler. It's absolutely everything. If it gets Valid, you cry because we didn't run call by in the main. So there's that kind of sucks, but aside from that, it's pretty good as long as I don't interrupt it. Or and then moving on, Misk. I mean, if you draw it with Misk, it's just as good, I suppose, as a call by.
Yeah,
Uh,
well, that's
Misk
it.
is it's just fantastic. Just saying no to absolutely anything like dinosaurs. It's not they can't be targeted. It's not they can't be destroyed. They're unaffected. Like you don't touch them. You just don't touch my plays whatsoever. Like it stops you from getting nibbed, which happened in my Shadol matchup. I think a couple dinos on the field, and then I was going through the Hauk plays, and then he Nibiru'd on Linkross or something like that, and I didn't care. Like it literally didn't matter at all. It's fantastic. But right now, Misk is great, obviously, for his banish effect, tutoring out the Archosaur, which is it's just diagram on crack. It's absolutely
Yeah,
nuts.
no, this card is very crazy. When I first
It's
read this card, I
insane.
was very taken back.
It's like the fact the dinosaur got a support card like this. It's just I can't believe it. It kind of made Double Evolution Pill a good card because like so many people were cutting it after the one at the Pro Play tour or whatever was doing that. He didn't run it, so everyone's like, "Oh, Pill's a bad card." I'm like, I mean, it's pretty good, but
No, yeah, no,
okay,
that
sure,
card is insane. So,
yeah,
can you explain why you ran
but
two instead of three? Because I've seen seems to be a bit of a
yeah.
trend.
So like, okay, so two Argosaur, I think is perfect ratio. You can even like if you're really bold and brave enough, put it to one. But at three, this thing is just gonna brick you to all hell because you don't want it to be the normal summon you rely on. Essentially, you'd rather save that obviously for the Oviraptor and
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
realistically nothing else.
It
But
seems like
yeah,
because of the digs, you play six Raptors, so seems like a pretty good
yeah,
number of starters.
exactly,
Eight.
exactly, yeah, exactly. Um, oh, sorry, I needed Pepsi Max real quick.
Oh, no worries,
Professional.
dude.
Yeah. So yeah, two Argosaur. It's just like it's the magic middle number sort of thing. You want to see it sometime, but not all the
Yeah,
time.
yeah,
Like
that's it, dude.
uh three baby, that's always staple in any sort of dino combo sort of thing. Not once per turn. It's absurd what baby do. Baby for baby into more babies into fucking it's the whole hospital maternity ward over here, man. It's insane. And two petite pteranodon, which it used to be at one, and I remember, I think it was Novo was saying like, wait, like a couple months ago, no, you need two petite. I'm like, nah, that's just trash. What the hell are you on about? And now we have Archosaur. Of course, you want like any baby in your hand plus Archosaur is like full combo
Yeah, yeah, and
because
it
I don't
summons
know.
Pancratops as well. It's actually
It's
pretty
someone's
nice.
Pancratops. It's nuts. It's someone's Pancratops, for whatever reason. If you're really bold and brave, I think you can just summon Doggeran out. I mean, why not? It's 3K beater if you
Can't get
want it.
Kaiju.
Yeah, exactly. So, Jesus. But yeah, if you open like, it's any essentially two of these, what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, and if we include digs, 15, any two of these 15 cards is full combo. So it's absolutely nuts, man. Like, you want to max out on everything you can. Well, maybe not Petites because they'll break it. They'll break it. You get the idea,
Yeah,
Max
for
out on the
sure.
good parts of it. 2 UCT, 3 is absolutely overkill. 1, if they out it, you're kind of screwed. But this is the board breaker. This is the one that does absolutely everything you need to do. OTK enabler. Like UCT is UCT. We all know what it does, and it's Guru the boss monster as well, which is just
No, it
fantastic,
seems
man.
to be that card that just not only does it let your deck deal with big boards, but it just puts heaps of pressure on like the slower decks as well because they can't really do anything to it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. There are so many decks I like. So many decks, like if you just flip down their normal summon, they can't really do a lot. Like ironically, like it's depending on an Emancipator hand, they can't go because they don't have a face up rock. I think that's how that works. Like I say, a normal summon a Doki Doki, flip it down. Usually that's decent. I was versing a friend who was playing Crusadia. You just flip their normal summon and they just, they quit Yu-Gi-Oh for the next month. So
No,
that's fun.
there's a lot of
It's
decks out
great.
there like that as well, where
Yeah,
they just
it's
can't deal with it.
it's so fantastic. One overtext because it's actually really important now. Like this used to be a card people were even when Uxor was announced, people were thinking, yeah, just cut overtext, you don't need it. But no, like spell trap negation is fantastic, and floating into the next pill is fantastic. Yeah, some hands, you can end up hard summoning it, which just recycles everything. Fantastic. Like overtext is a great card.
Yeah, for sure.
Like
And being
opening
able
it,
to send it with
yeah,
Overraptor as well is just like a very nice
yeah,
option to
yeah.
have.
Instant access to the pill. It's like it's so good. Even if like you pop it off of diagram search as the pill. So it's like drawing it isn't always bad, but then the one giant Rex drawing that is terrible. If that's in your hand, you just go game 2. Don't care what else is
Yeah.
there. That's just the absolute worst. But yeah. Sometimes you play through it. One Pancratops because it's Pancratops. It's like a 2-for-1 in most scenarios. It's ridiculous.
Yeah. Well, one of the
It's
better
limited
dinosaur
to one.
monsters for sure.
Absolutely. The only thing Dino Wrestler's ever actually done for being such a cool looking and cool sounding archetype like Dino Wrestler. Fantastic, but only one card's actually decent. Except, there's that one Capoeira, I think. Something's like the Earth Tuner that people are fiddling around with, but I think those people are wrong. So
Yeah.
moving on. The one Dog around because it's a searchable out to any annoying card, pretty much. If you obviously can't, know if you're going first or second, so you don't really want to max out. But having Pancrin Dog around in the main is like you can go first or second pretty comfortably most of the time, regardless. Like, especially if you open Misk, then going second usually, it's fine because you drop Misk, find your way to UCT, and you just end up winning.
Yeah, and another thing about this card is like it's a good card to have against Shadol because it just gives you like an instant out to Winder, lets you play the game.
Yeah, absolutely. But I was the one idiot in the Shadol Invoked matchup that forgot about El Shadol being the quick play fusion. And I was like, oh yeah, I'll dog around the Macabre. Like, I don't want to get negated. Ha ha ha. And they winded me. I'm like, oh, fuck. I just had to pray. But I lived the next turn and just won from there anyway, so it's fine. I was good when my opponent bricks. That's when I usually win. Easy wins. 2 of the Fire True King and 1 of the Earth. Like, it used to be 3 of the Fire, but now, the deck space is getting super thin for Dino. And, like, even back in the True King, like, extra builds and such, 3 Fire could be a bit bricky as well.
Yeah, I was going to say, these True King cards seem like they would be the cards you could potentially brick on. The Earth one's really nice, but you can only play one of him, unfortunately. Or fortunately, no matter which way you look at it, I guess. Like
the fact we have Lithosagan back is just nuts. Like, I can't believe it ever came off.
Yeah, it's one of those crazy cards where you think, wow,
God.
what are they thinking? Like,
like, seriously, man. Yeah, it starts all your plays, banish 3 from your opponent's extra deck, activates and resolves in hand. Like, okay, sure. It's just nuts, man. Like, the True King package is always going to be good, and it's your, like, it's the easiest way, I suppose, to get into your calamities and play Trishula plays, etc. That sort of thing.
Absolutely.
The tuner is the one Dracaolo, which is just, I swear to God, always in my hand, at least at locals when that was on. Always, man. But that doesn't matter so much being in my hand now that we have all the new support, so that's not too bad. But yeah, it's just there for the tuner. It has an effect that I've never read, so I don't care. Okay, all right, here's something interesting.
I was very interested when I saw this.
I think I stole this package from everyone's gone on about the Gizmek Uka play that happened in some online tournament. And I haven't really watched any of those because the meta is 2 decks really right now. But then I saw Dino play doing weird stuff. I didn't care too much about them doing Uka. I'm like, oh yeah, that's neat, that's neat. I saw them also playing the Nemesis package, right? Okay, so the 2 flag and then the 1 Protos. Essentially, it's not great going first, but it can be, and I'll get into that as to how it was great against Carmen going first, ironically. So flag. You target one of your banished monsters, except another flag. Special summon this card, shuffle that target into the deck, and then also during main phase, you can add a Nemesis monster from your deck to your hand, except for flag. So essentially, right, it's just a free summon and recycles back anything you've banished, a la like a Miscellaneousaurus, or anything that happened off of Pill,
Yeah, or like
any of that good
Jet
stuff.
Synchron, whatever, right?
Yeah, Jet Synchron. I always go for Jet Synchron. I forgot that existed for a second there, but yeah, it's usually it was either Misk or Jet. It's either one, but it's just fantastic, man. It's a free summon. Some of the brickier hands, I've been able to get through it because I've been able to like free summon flag and a tuner on field. There's your needle fiber, and then you just keep going from there. So it's just free summons are never a bad thing, but the free summon isn't anything except what it searches. It's fantastic. So Protos is just tribe infecting virus. It's just absolutely nuts. Cannot be destroyed by card effects. Declare 1 monster attribute on the field. Destroy all cards of that attribute. Then your opponent and you, I think as well, can't special summon anything with that attribute until the end of the next turn.
Which
so there have been times
crazy.
I've versed a friend who plays Speedroids, and I just so happened, I think I got out Protos and I had my own Metal Marcher on the field. I'm like, oh, if I just pop that, he can't summon anything for a whole turn and I'll OTK him. So it's ridiculous. Adamantipator, if you see that happening, get an Earth on the field, pop it, which, if it's your babies, they float. If it's your Rex, who cares? It's shit on the field anyway. You just pop it. Adamantipator can't play for a turn. Carmen on Eldritch... I summoned Auroradon. He gammered it, and I'm like, oh, okay, that kind of sucks. I get no combo. Hold up a second. Pull out Protos. Call light. Destroy all light. I believe every Eldritch monster is light, and throughout the Needle Fiber combo, they need to summon something light. I'm not too sure about the synchro side of it, but I know all the Eldritch.
I think you're right there. Yeah. Linkross is light.
Linkross is light. That's it. Yeah. There we go. So it like stops almost any deck for an entire turn. Like getting Gammed just kind of helped me because I literally couldn't really do anything aside from, I think, end on Savage, maybe. I wasn't too sure. So yeah, Protos is fantastic, man. And it hasn't really felt bricky at all. Like I said before, it's a free summon for the most part. And it's something I would definitely keep in here.
Yeah, I definitely think these cards are something to keep an eye on for the future, for sure, because they could probably see play outside of this deck as well.
Oh, for sure, man. Like anything, actually, really anything that can abuse like the Needle Fiber Jet Synchron combo, because all it requires is 3 different attributes, and through that you've got about 5 different ones in the grave. So it's a why not have it sort of card.
Yeah, for sure.
Then we've got Jet Synchron because that card is just an entire combo on its own, and Adhara and the O-line because just easy tuners to get out into the field. Adhara. Again, it's the free summon. Could be a free summon, then go with a free summon, a flag, etc. Anything. It's just easy combo access play, really. And that's a monster lineup. Moving on to spells. Got 2 Pill because if you draw 1, then Archosaur can't search for anything. Plus 2 Pill is just actually not bad at all, surprisingly enough. Even drawing it,
Yeah,
the deck
for sure.
has so many ways to
after
combo
turn
off.
1, I can imagine, like, with all this Needle Fiber stuff, you'd have your grave loaded. Like, you'd have no problem resolving it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Like, it's always going to be good. Like, this deck rarely bricks nowadays. And if it does, my opponent also bricks, and I still somehow win by miracle, so I'm just lucky. 3 Fossil Dig because it is literally any of your combo starters whenever you need them. 3 Lost World, and the 1 Diagram, Terraforming Set Rotation, etc. The standard field spell lineup, they all facilitate their own type of combo. The Lost World ones are just a bunch of rank 4s. Probably more, actually, now. Archosaur will get you tuner, blah, blah, blah. Diagram is like 3 gone from the extra deck. Your opponent can't play for a turn. It's just absolutely nuts. And then to wrap it off, we had Dark Ruler No More in the main, which I wish 100% was called by the grave. Because
Yeah?
I ran into the hand traps far more than I thought I would because I didn't look up any Eldritch decks and I'd never dueled one. And I still entered a state championship thinking, oh, yeah, no, it'll be fine. Dark Ruler seems pretty good. Go second against Adamantipator. Nah, it came up maybe like once and I don't think I even had to use it. I just used it because I could, sort of thing. Oh my god, yeah, I really needed that to be called by because, like, if my Obi gets interrupted, I never seem to have Misk in hand, so I always need it. I think it was round one. I think it was versus you. Did you Veiler the Obi and I just had to pass turn, or I ended on like a
Yes.
Largia or
Yes, no,
something?
that was it. And you
Yeah,
ended on, I think, Dolka or
it was
Lagia.
just
I always
Largia, I
forget which
believe.
one's which.
It must have been Largia because the thought was like, oh, if I stop his summon, I didn't know what you were playing, but it's like if you stop any summon in a deck, it's usually decent. Let's see how far that gets me. Surprisingly, I won that game and the match too. So
Yes, yes.
yeah,
I later actually found out that I had a line where I could have made VFD and I just didn't see it at the time. But, like,
oh, are you serious? Oh
which is
no.
unfortunate. But
Oh
yeah, like, looking back, like, it was a very close game regardless. So,
wow, man, I've made it to top 3 or 4. I forget what it did. I come third?
yes, you
Yeah,
came
third.
third.
Yeah, there we go. I don't even know. My God. I made it to third place just on pure luck. Like, I swear to God, at this stage,
Well,
like,
no, it
my
seems like you
God.
know the deck, dude, and that's really the important thing here. Is like sometimes
Oh, yeah,
people get
yeah.
tunnel vision, right? Like, this was what I was going to say before as well.
Yeah,
The reason that the Eldritch decks are all playing hand traps is because Adamantipator is such a scary deck, right? Like, you don't want to just go second to that and have to go to the next game. So that's the deck that can play
yeah.
hand traps and be the middle ground. But then I'm sure a lot of people just weren't thinking about Dinosaur at all, and that would help you a lot as well.
Well,
Because,
that's
like,
what I'm surprised, man. I thought people would be, like, more prepared for
yeah, well,
more
our little
diverse
group was
things.
kind of
Yeah,
like low key think everyone might play Dinosaur, but I'm sure like a lot of people would have been like, yeah, everyone will
yeah.
be on Eldritch, everyone will be on Adamantipator. But I think this actually ended up being the
Yeah, I mean, did we
most
even...
popular deck, or
There was
tied
only,
with
like, one
Eldritch.
rock player the entire time, right?
Yeah, I think Dylan was the only one, I believe, which was very
See, that's
surprising.
absurd. Like, everyone else, it was, like, 50% Dino
Yeah,
and 50% Eldritch. It was
yeah.
the
Well, my
weirdest...
first 3 rounds were all Dinos, so
Yeah, Benji versus the Lizards. That's the entire tournament. That was ridiculous. Like, I couldn't believe the matchups, but it's like at least mine were pretty diverse, and I wasn't mad. I think what was it? I versed Eldritch twice, then Shadol invoked, and then Mermails, which I was so mad. I'm like, Harry's either playing Dino or Mermail. I'm gonna be so mad if he loops me with Mermail. He fucking
yeah, I
did. Of
was
course
kind of
he
like
did.
lazy on like looking up what people were playing and stuff like that because I was just more focused on doing
Yeah,
my
yeah.
like content and stuff. But so I thought Harry was playing
Ah,
Dino, and
right.
it turns out he wasn't.
And the madman got so far with it. It's
Oh yeah, no,
amazing.
he almost won. Like that deck's
I'm
crazy.
s-
But yeah, let's
the
get on
Mermail's
to the side
nuts.
deck.
Oh yeah, the side. Okay, I forgot. There's a deck profile. Oops. So 3 Lancia, which I thought would be fantastic, and then like after I sent the deck, I'm like, if I just Lancia an Eldritch player, if I don't shotgun it, they're just gonna chain. So that's terrible. I thought maybe I don't know. Orcust is still floating about. Block Dragon, is a thing. Wait, no, Block Dragon goes to grave. What's the Adamantipator? They need to banish something.
Yeah, no,
I'm
no,
sure. Oh
Block
no, Block
Dragon.
Dragon.
Yeah,
Yeah, to
you need
summon
to
itself. Yeah,
banish
yeah, yeah.
cards to summon it.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, I knew I was onto something there. Jeez. Like Dinosaur also heavily, weirdly enough,
Yeah.
relies on banishing. Like a lot of the top decks still do, but it sort of just like never came up.
Yeah, well, Orcust is
DD
something we
Crow.
looked at for sure. So
Oh yeah.
I think that was a good choice to play Lancia for this
It,
tournament.
yeah. Overall, I think like just the whole side deck was not really looking at the specific meta, more so looking at every potential thing I could run into, and
Yeah,
hopefully it
yeah, try and
covers.
cover all bases.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. So like we go DD Crow because like if you DD Crow a Misk, for example, that can stop an entire turn. DD Crow certain like again with Orcust, again with Eldritch, depending how they open, etc. Like hitting the Jet Synchron with DD Crow is pretty great. There's a lot of things DD Crow hits. It's one of the better hand traps right now, I find.
Yeah,
Not once per
absolutely.
turn as well. Yeah. 3 Cosmic because just in general, if I ran into any back row that I didn't want to deal with, or Mystic Mine also mainly, which did come up in the Shadow and Vote matchup. It was just like 5 turns waiting for Cyclone, then I OTK'd that turn. So that was good. Lightning Storm is like the $150 bait and negate card. It wasn't good at all. I haven't seen this card be good for me ever yet, but I'm sure someday it will be.
I think it's more so the fact that the decks that this card's really good against just don't really exist at the moment because they're so overshadowed by deck like Eldritch Synchron, which can do both things. So you won't really see Altergeist or Guru floating around that much.
Yeah, exactly. It's like anything that this deck would be good against, the deck it's good against has a way to counter it anyway.
Yeah.
So it's like, honestly, it's like if anyone out there is like, oh, wish I had money for Storm, you really don't. Like, you can find so many cards that'll do good things for you. Like, if you don't own it, you don't need it. It's one of those cards, but it's really good to have it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Pretty evenly because
find
it's sort of like Storm. It's just a blowout sort of card. It didn't come up at all during this tournament because, again, it just never needed to. And the one red reboot, which would have come up, except I just won that match or that game anyway, in which it would have come up. I don't remember if it was against you or I think it might have been in round one. But either way, I had
potentially yes. I think I remember you telling me something about having red reboot.
Yeah. I think I just had enough negates to stop, and then I just was like, I had the reboot anyway. That like I knew I was winning that game. Like, if you see Eldritch shed a bunch of stuff, and you have reboot, you're like, you know, you're gonna win the game. So reboot's fantastic. Sure. I want reboot back to 3 so badly. I would easily think it's a better card than Lightning Storm, at least.
Yeah, no, it definitely is, and that's why I think they limited it, is so they could sell Lightning Storm, because like there's no question that against those decks you just play reboot instead. You can't negate it.
Absolutely. One thing I want to say though is like, okay, so out of this side deck, now knowing with hindsight what decks would be floating about and what's good against them, I 100% overlook the fact that the Jet Synchron combo is available to just like every deck, essentially. If you draw Jet, it's an entire Herald, Savage, through Auroradon, etc. I would have probably taken out the Evenleys and maybe even the Lanciers somewhere just to fit in Nibiru, because I thought that was going to be a terrible card for this format. And then just about every matchup I had, I thought, damn, if I had Nibiru, like where I was going second, obviously, if I had Nibiru, this would have been so much better.
Yeah, like it's one of those weird cards where on paper it doesn't seem that great because it doesn't stop Adamantipator and it doesn't really stop the Eldritch deck. But it's one of those cards that just lets you play the other 4-5 cards in your hand. So, and sometimes that's just enough.
Exactly. Aside from that, I don't think there's anything else I really wanted to side. I've seen like maybe the Gizmek Uka Torrent sort of thing as the new Frame package, but I haven't tested that, so I'm not sure. I hear Token Collector's pretty good, and
that card's kind of crazy.
I had a friend say Token Collector did really well, but like I don't know. It's things I haven't tested, but I maybe in the future we'll see.
Yeah, for sure. We'll just see what happens going forward as well. We could get a ban list, and maybe Needle Fiber isn't so over-centralizing to the meta.
Yeah, exactly. But it's hard. This is a very unpredictable ban list, considering like, is Konami gonna pretend that they don't know what's happened, but they do know what's happening? And that sort of thing.
For sure. It's like, do we need a ban list? Like, we have no events. Like, there's heaps of things.
It's just an awkward time. Nothing feels safe, ironically. It's very strange.
Definitely not.
All right, we'll wrap it up with the extra deck. Trishula, because it's halfway to VFD and it loops cards out of the hand, grave and field, usually just the hand. But hey, that's pretty good. Mermail likes looping, and they came second.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think this card's really underrated. Like
Crocodragon. Which one, Crocodragon or Trishula?
No, Trishula. Like I just think
Trishula. Yeah.
That card's like really good. Especially, even going second into a board and just being able to get rid of like a resource from the field, the hand, and the grave. Like against a deck like Eldritch, that's insane.
Oh yeah. And it doesn't target as well. I remember I summoned
Trishula. No, it does not.
And I was about to say like what I was going to banish on the field. And then this is sometime last year. And then my opponent's like, on the summon of Trishula chain, Gizmek from hand, the one that Orchestra Grand Marju used. I'm like,
yeah.
oh, okay, dude, sure, that's real smart. Okay, one less card in hand for me to then loop and then to banish Gizmek off your field. It's like, oh, man. Okay, so that was great.
Yeah.
Crocodragon, because it's like with that and the full combo. It's also got another effect, by the way, that it can pop something on the field that people just seem to not know. It doesn't really come up, but
No,
hey, it's
this
kind of
card's
good
really
if it's
good.
good.
Like with the Eldritch decks that make VFD, you can going second, you can make this
Yeah.
and the Vermilion attack and kill 2 cards, which is just really
Yeah,
nice.
it's fantastic. It's like the fact it can draw the cards is, I think, just insanely powerful. Like Crocodragon is generally just a pot of greed plus this huge body that makes VFD on board. Like, what more could you want?
Yeah, I remember. I think you made this against me and drew 2 cards off it, and I was just like, "Wait, what? Oh yeah, that card draws like more cards if you have more materials. Like crazy." Because usually in
It's
my
just,
deck you're making it with 2 materials, but when you make it with 3, it's like, oh
yeah.
wow.
It's like, yeah, oh, you just actually go nuts with it, man. Like, there's a lot of potential. Like this card's got a lot of potential in a lot of decks. Honestly, it gives a lot of decks, I think, a way to access, probably like access VFD maybe as well. I'm
Yeah, no,
not too
for
sure, but I
sure,
think
for sure.
yeah, like decks that never had it before.
Like
Um,
before you had cards like this and the other card of Miltech, it was really just all your 9s were cards like Trishula and Mistworm that just had to have 3 monsters. Just being able to make a 2 monster 9 is insane.
yeah, yeah, it's absolutely wild. All right, let's move on. Let's go. We got what's next. Don't lag on me. There we go. All right, Borrowed Savage Dragon. I did not originally have this in here until I did testing and realized, hey, if my plays get interrupted, it's somewhere along the line. I don't remember originally what Savage was. I wish I could remember. It's like my plays get interrupted. I need to at least be able to end on something good. And Savage was that good card. It's like even if I open unoptimally, like I thought to myself, all right, if I don't have Savage, then my Jet Synchron play or my unoptimal hand play is just end on Herald with a bunch of tokens or something really bad. And
Yeah, no,
Savage
this
is
seems like the Herald Borrower Savage thing seems like a really good thing to default on if you get like Veiled or something or like Impermanence, and then you just have another way to attune her.
yeah, exactly. It's like it's crazy that now like the worst possible combo you can do is a Floodgate / 2 Omni Negate sort of thing. It's
Yeah,
absolutely
no, it's
ridiculous.
crazy, isn't it? Like,
It's like, yeah, when Harry's hand looping you with Mermouths, he's got Herald on field, so he's just banishing cards from your hand. Oh, that's real good. That's fantastic. Absolutely love it. Nat Beast as well. Oh yeah, Nat Beast I probably would cut because I thought maybe I would go into it a bit more than I did. That's why there's Adhara in the deck as well as,
right, okay, yeah.
a bunch of Earths. Adhara is just the easy way to make it. Otherwise, I don't what's the other card? Reproducus. I don't run that. I just thought Adhara and something, say my hands unoptimal. We could do Nat Beast, which can be a blowout against a lot of things, but I never made it. I could have a lot of times, but there were just a lot of better things to make. I'd probably substitute it for or like a Link Karibo. So if I draw Jet, then that's like minimal, just a full combo there.
Yeah, I do remember that the
Yeah.
Dino decks originally, they used to make Nat Beast by making VFD and then turning everything into an Earth monster.
Oh yeah, making everything Earth as well. See, I thought that too. I thought, yeah, that would, come up, a lot of things, would kind of just flow together and turn itself into each other, it also makes sense. But honestly, it just didn't come up. If it did, it would have been good, but there were better things to do at that point in time. You know what I mean? So,
Yeah. Do
like,
you have a
some of those
replacement
cards,
in mind looking back?
yeah, like probably just the Link Karibo. That's my
Right.
first initial thought at this stage, or maybe another toolboxy rank 4. But it didn't feel like I was missing anything, like at all ever during the entire any match I had, except for maybe a Link Karibo, just because Jet Synchron turned to that, summon itself,
Yeah,
blah
I
blah
can
blah.
see that.
It just becomes the whole thing. Herald because Herald, Martial Metal, and Formula for the big wacky combos that go with the Auroradon. The 2 needle fibers because that's how dinos kind of have to make it instead of how does Eldritch do it? However, Eldritch does it with the other machine.
Yeah,
Essentially,
yeah.
it's
So like
revive the
Eldritch
formula,
just
make the
use
needle.
their basic combo is just go into Deskbot and then you revive the Deskbot when you make
Yeah,
a
Despot.
Rorodon,
Yeah,
and then you use a Rorodon and a token to bring out the lion, and that just does all your lines.
that's right. That's right. Because the Despot's the machine, all that sort of thing.
Yeah,
It's like,
exactly.
yeah, we need like to summon Marshall, make formula, no, resummon or reborn the formula because that's a tuner. Then make the other needle fiber, and that's two machines to make a Rorodon. That sort of thing. The Linkross, I've skipped the Xyz for some reason. We'll go back to them.
That's all right.
So then the Linkross is like, this is all just obvious combo stuff. The needles, the Aurora, the Linkross, etc. Then the Xyz, you got Calamities because Calamities just wins games. It says opponent no.
Yeah,
It's
no,
ridiculous.
card is very good.
And Calamities, I hate to say it, but it does probably need to be banned.
Yeah, no,
It's a
this is
bit.
definitely something that we've all been discussing as well. That like this card probably just has to go. It's too oppressive. There's too little counters
It's
to it in
just
the game to like justify
far
being
far
around.
too oppressive, man. It does too much. Like an entire can't attack, no effect turn is like, okay, I'll summon Guardian Wind Dragon Guardian of the Fortress #2, and then pass turn is like it's too much. The one Dolka, the one Lagia, it's just the obvious dinosaur utility. Dolka is technically better, but if you've already got Calamities up, they're not using monster effects anyway. So I think
Yeah,
Lagia is
for
pretty
sure.
good, and negating any spell and trap, and also any summon is like just ridiculous because again, the same idea as UCT. You flip the normal summon; it's usually game. You Lagia the normal summon. It can also usually sometimes just be game. That's why I thought
Absolutely.
Lagia against you in round one. I'm thinking could be Dolka, but also Lagia. Let's see if we hit a summon. What happens? And
Yeah,
it
well,
kind of just worked.
it end up being really hard to deal with. But if that had been Dolka, I think I would have won that game.
Oh, absolutely. Because I was watching back the game, and your commentary is like, you flip the trap that summons itself as a monster, and you're like, we'll try and bait that as a negate. But I'm like, no, that don't seem right. Then you flip the one to summon Big Boy from deck. I'm like, yeah,
Yeah.
that can fuck right off. Yeah, I was not having that. Absolutely. And
It
then
basically
lastly,
cut off
Abyss
any way
Dweller.
of me
Was
getting
it?
to my engine. So
Yeah, exactly. And then lastly, Abyss Dweller because it's Dweller. I didn't make it once this entire tournament because, again, all these cards, it's like the Nat Beast thing, it's really good, but sometimes you don't need it because you just have better and easier ways to win. But Dweller is fantastic, and I would probably just never cut that, especially because it's going to be ulti soon, and the deck needs to be expensive so I can look cool to all my friends.
absolutely. Well, yeah, no, Dweller seems like a really nice choice. I think it's one of those cards you can make. If for some reason they crack your board, you can try and crack them back, make this next to a UCT, and then they just have no comeback, right? And it's like you said, Orcus could have been a deck. That card's really good against Orcus and Simplify
Yeah.
Game State.
Well, even Dweller, I remember Dweller's ridiculous against dinos because at the last regionals we had when the virus didn't start killing people yet, my first round opponent was Harry, and it was a dino mirror match, and he calamities me game one. I'm like, oh, that's kind of rough, man. It's fine. I'll be able to do it game two. But I let him go first, and I interrupt his play or something like that. But he makes Dweller, not calamities. And that also just like ended my turn entirely. So he like steamrolled me off of a Dweller.
Yeah,
And
what it
I'm like,
really makes you
this
think,
card's
right?
good.
Like if you ban VFD, like I don't really think it affects the power level of this deck at all. If anything, I think banning VFD would make this deck better because then you can play all your all in go second cards, right, and not have to lose to VFD.
Well, yeah, actually, that's a good point. It's an interesting thing to look at. It just like it opens up at least like I don't know 2, 3, depending on how you build the deck, 2 or 3 extra deck spaces, and it's like Dino has access to like any utility they want,
Yeah, that's
really.
right. They've literally got access to anything. Crazy engine.
Just yeah, it's I don't know. Like as much as I want calamities to stay, just for selfish reasons for this deck,
Yeah.
it's got to go, and if it goes, Dino will find a way to adapt.
Yeah, for
I
sure.
feel
I,
like
I
yeah,
don't think Dino will ever disappear from the meta.
no, as long as UCT exists, Dino will be a deck essentially.
Awesome, man. Well, we'll wrap it up. Do you have any shout outs?
Shout outs to my girlfriend who believed in me
Oh,
every
that's
single
nice.
round. Shout outs to my sister who let me borrow a laptop to play because I wasn't at home for the entire tournament. Shout outs to JC because he's good to me and sold me a lot of max rarity dinos. Shout outs to just all the other general boys that I play with, old Meeks, Dallin, the rest whose names escape me because I'm on the spot right now.
No, that's all right, man. Yeah.
And shout outs to you, Benji, for doing
Oh,
this, and everyone else that I won against in the entire tournament for letting me win essentially. But fuck you, Harry, because you're my one loss, and I'll hold that against you until you're dead.
well, yeah, thanks heaps for that, man. And thanks for the deck profile.
No problems, man. All good.
All right. Well, that's it, guys. Thanks for tuning in.